The moon hung suspended above the abyss. Its silver glow stretched into a fragile path, like a thin thread dangling between endless shadows. I stood there, legs trembling, cold sweat soaking through my back, my heart pounding as if it would tear itself out of my chest. Inside my head, my teacher's words still echoed, heavy like the toll of a bronze bell. The door is not in the abyss. It is within your heart. But my heart then felt nothing like a door. It was a locked chest, swollen with fear. Every beat struck like a knock, reminding me that it was time to open it, or be swallowed whole by the night. I inhaled sharply. The air cut into my lungs like knives of ice. The smell of damp earth and incense drifted in, suffocating, dizzying. For a fleeting moment, I swore I heard a voice whispering my name in the wind, distant, unclear, yet enough to raise every hair on my body. And then, a low, muffled bell rang out, not in my ears, but directly inside my chest. Each strike pulled at me like an invisible hand, urging me forward. I knew then there was no turning back. I staggered forward, and the moonlit path led me into a gaping darkness where a massive black silhouette was waiting. A temple, silent, motionless, yet watching me as if it had been waiting all along. I froze. Through the choking fog, the shadow sharpened into form. Not a holy temple with soaring roofs and gentle curves, but a hulking mass of black stone, lifeless and brooding, as if it had risen from the earth after 1,000 years of slumber. The longer I stared, the colder I felt. Cracked walls, mottled with moss, looked like wounds that never healed. Every fissure, every dark stain, resembled a hidden eye watching me. A chill crept down my neck, and I shivered. My hand clenched the golden silk I carried, seeking comfort, yet it grew hot, almost burning, as if it were urging me forward. Then came the whispers, hundreds of them, rising from the temple. Not prayers, not curses, something in between, layered and heavy, pressing on my mind. My chest tightened. Each step forward felt like carrying boulders, yet when I thought of stepping back, the temple seemed to swell larger, filling the horizon, blocking all escape. I knew I had no choice. So, with shallow, ragged breaths, I walked toward it. Through the dense fog, the temple emerged in full. Not serene, not sacred, but a colossal block of black stone, cold and mute, carved from darkness itself. Its walls, streaked with moss, dripped like clotted blood. In some places, the stone had cracked, but instead of crumbling, the fissures formed grotesque faces, mouths frozen in screams, eyes bulging with rage, twisted sneers caught in stone. I shuddered. Was it my imagination? Or was the temple whispering in a dead tongue? Above, ragged prayer flags snapped violently. Yet there was no wind. I squinted, and my heart nearly burst. The fabric was not fluttering. It was twitching, convulsing, like broken bodies writhing under invisible hands. 2 stone pillars stood before the gate. From each, a massive rusted bell hung, the size of a human head. Though the air was still, they trembled faintly, groaning like strangled throats. I stumbled back. The ground beneath me sank, wet and soft, as if hands were reaching up from the earth to clutch my ankles. I looked down. Bubbles seethed, as though beneath lay a living swamp. A shiver shot through me, forcing my gaze back to the temple. It loomed there, silent, but I felt it staring, not with windows, not with pillars, with its entire hulking body. Invisible eyes, vast and merciless, fixed on my every breath, every heartbeat. The golden silk in my grip quivered, pulsing hot, alive. I knew then, whether I wished it or not, I was already in its grasp. Before me, a rotting wooden door towered high, blotting out the moon. It was covered in slime and ancient Tibetan inscriptions, etched deep as if clawed by fingernails. From each symbol, thick black liquid oozed down like old dried blood. I raised a trembling hand and touched it. Freezing. So cold it felt not like wood, but like the flesh of the long dead. At that moment, the door creaked open on its own. No hinge, no sound, only a wave of fetid air stinging with damp rot, scorched butter, and the metallic tang of blood. Instantly, the outside world vanished. No wind, no rattling flags, no tolling bells, only silence, so dense I could hear the thunder of my own heart. Inside, blackness stretched like an abyss, but far within, a faint red glow flickered, hundreds of butter lamps. Their flames quivered as though breathed upon by unseen lips, and within each flame, faces, men, women, children, eyes wide, mouths agape, trapped forever in fire. Goose flesh swept across me. My feet dragged heavy, chained by fear. Yet the golden silk burned hot in my palm, twitching like a living thing, pushing me onward. I swallowed hard, trembling, and stepped across the threshold. My foot struck icy stone, and at once the flames roared up, lighting the high ceiling. Walls carved with snarling beasts, each with dozens of glaring crimson eyes, all turning toward me. And from the depths, a chant rose. Not one voice, dozens, hundreds, each syllable dragged out, clinging to my ears, like skeletal hands clawing into my mind. I knew I had crossed the boundary, and there was no going back. I walked deeper. Behind me, the door shut silently. From this moment, I was sealed inside. Before me stretched an endless corridor. On either side, hundreds, thousands of butter lamps glowing red. But the dim light did not banish darkness. It thickened it, like heavy curtains pressing in. The stench of burning butter filled my lungs. Yet it was wrong. Not butter, but acrid, rancid, like flesh on fire. My stomach lurched, bile rising, and then my heart froze. In the wavering light, I saw faces. Each flame contained one. Wrinkled elders, innocent children, eyes wide in terror, mouths forever open in silent screams, trapped in fire, suffocating for eternity. I stumbled back, chest pounding. But then, shock ripped through me. Among those faces were familiar ones. People from my past, people I had lost or abandoned. Was this an illusion? Or had their souls truly been imprisoned here? Suddenly a lamp near me flared violently. Within its blaze, eyes glared straight into mine. Its mouth moved, whispering. I leaned closer and collapsed in horror. It was calling my name. The chanting swelled, booming, relentless. No longer prayer, incantation. Heavy chains of sound binding me, dragging me under. It seeped into my skin, my blood, fogging my mind. I felt my soul drifting, drawn into the walls. Desperate, I blinked furiously, forcing focus. But the walls had begun to change. The carvings writhed, bleeding like living veins, swirling into hundreds of eyes. Every one of them opened at once, staring. A chill pierced my spine. My legs weighed like stone, my throat locked. And then, right behind me, a whisper, chilling, right against my ear. Do not look. If you look, you will never return. I spun around. Empty. Nothing. Only my shadow, long, distorted, grinning at me in the firelight. Though I was not. From the depths, chanting rose again, not steady, but dragged, layered, countless voices overlapping. The longer I listened, the heavier my head grew. My body loosened, my soul tugged toward the stone walls. Symbols etched there began to stir, twisting into red glowing eyes. And again, the whisper behind me. Do not look. If you look, you will never return. I spun, but nothing. Only my own warped shadow, flickering in firelight, smiling in my stead. The corridor led me into a vast chamber, the main hall. I froze. At the center stood a massive stone altar, draped in crimson cloth, stained with dark, ancient blood. Around it sat 12 towering statues, cracked with age, dust thick on their forms. But their faces, oh, their faces, not Buddhas of compassion, grotesque monstrosities, half human, half beast. Mouths stretched ear to ear, eyes bulging, grotesque grins frozen in stone. At their feet lay circles of skulls, their jaws agape, teeth intact, still screaming in eternal silence. Suddenly, all the lamps flared, roaring high. Blood-red light flooded the hall. From the statues, thick black smoke billowed, swirling into the air. It gathered, condensed, into shapes, dozens, hundreds, figures kneeling, bowing before the altar. The chant returned, no longer distant, now deafening directly in my ears, not prayer, lamentation. A chorus of sobs, screams, and desperate pleas clawing into my skull. I stumbled, nearly collapsing, but the golden silk in my hand pulsed violently, burning hot. Its ancient symbols glowed, twisting like living serpents. And then, silence. Absolute. The chanting ceased. The fire froze mid-flame. The kneeling shades raised their heads, every one, eyes hollow, staring directly at me. My heart thundered. The hall suffocated me in silence. And from the far end, a figure emerged. Robed in crimson, hood pulled low, eyes burning like smoldering embers. He stepped forward slowly. Each footfall crashed against my heart like a hammer. He stopped before the altar. A skeletal hand lifted, pointing straight at my chest. A voice rasped, not aloud but inside my mind, a curse etched in thought. You have brought it here. The door will now open. The silk blazed in my palm. My chest tore open with searing pain. The hall quaked. Statues cracked. Skulls tumbled, clattering like shattered bones. I screamed, yet no sound came. Before me, darkness split apart, revealing a sliver of light, a gateway to a world beyond. I fell to my knees, clutching my chest, where the silk blazed like living fire. The light coiled through my veins, tearing me apart from within. The temple convulsed. Statues fractured, skulls rolled across stone, rattling like brittle bones. I lifted my head and saw the darkness before me split open. Not a crack, but the world itself, carved in two by an invisible blade. From within seeped a light, not sun, not moon, but blinding white, freezing marrow, locking my spine in ice. And with it came the chant again, not mournful now, but savage. 1,000 voices shrieking together, mixed with the scrape of metal, twisted laughter and sobbing despair, dragging me into madness. I felt myself being torn from my body, limbs numb, spirit sucked into the gash of light. The crimson-robed figure raised his hand. His voice pierced my mind. This is no longer a place for the living. You carry the seed of karma. And now, the door opens for you. I tried to retreat, but behind me, the wooden door was gone. Only solid night, no escape. The fissure widened, swirling into a spiral gate, exhaling icy winds that sliced to the bone. Within its glow, I glimpsed drifting figures, headless, hands folded in prayer, hollow sockets staring as they floated like a river of lost souls. An invisible hand seized me, yanking me forward. I screamed, but my throat locked. And just before the spiral devoured me, I saw it, at its heart, an immense stone throne. Upon it sat a shrouded figure, still as death. I could not see its face, but I knew. It was waiting. The darkness slammed shut behind me, and I was consumed. Behind me, darkness sealed. Before me, nothing but endless void. I fell. No ground, no sky, just falling. Forever. Wind screamed past, cold as razors. Yet beneath its howl I heard it. Thousands of human screams twisting into the gale. I crashed down onto something soft. My knees buckled. My hand touched. Bone, not earth. Not stone, but a vast plain woven from white bones. Every step crunched. Beneath, eyes glowed red, glaring up from the cracks. I gasped for air, but it was thick, choked with ash and old blood. Each breath filled me with the dying sighs of thousands. Above me stretched a surreal sky. No sun, no moon. Only a vast night veined with glowing purple streams, like veins of some colossal unseen beast, pulsing slowly. Mountains loomed in the distance. Not rock, but flesh. Quivering, bleeding rivers of black poison that oozed across the land. And in the sky, thousands of bodies dangled headless, hanging upside down, hands clasped as if in prayer. They drifted like broken kites, mouths moving in endless mutters. Yet no sound escaped. The only voice was inside my mind. You have come. You are one of us. I staggered. My legs trembled, desperate to retreat, but the bone beneath me softened. Hands shot up, gray, frozen, clawing my ankles. Nails ripped skin. Blood seeped. I jerked, pulling free, but they clung like iron. Then the ground shuddered. Far ahead, a path of black stone unfurled, stretching to the horizon. At its end, a towering throne of bone rose, crowned by pillars impaled with skulls. And on that throne sat a giant figure, shrouded in black, head bowed, skeletal hands gripping a staff of bone. Silence swallowed the world. Then the eyes beneath the shroud burst open. Twin flames, red as blood, tore the darkness apart. I froze, for I knew this was the keeper of karma. The red eyes on the throne pierced me. My body froze. Blood stopped. Breath strangled. All else vanished. Only those eyes remained, scalpels slicing into my soul. I collapsed, clutching my head, and visions flooded in. My sins, my lies, my betrayals, the faces of those I abandoned, their grief, their rage. All around me, the past closed in, inescapable. I screamed, "No! Stop! I don't want to see!" But then came the voice, deep, hollow, merciless. You can deceive others. You can deceive yourself. But karma never forgets. I looked up, horror overwhelming me. The bodies floating above began to fall. Headless forms, pale faces, empty eyes. All of them, me, dozens, hundreds, each a reflection, one weeping, one laughing cruelly, one howling like a beast. They swarmed me, hands grasped, dragging me into the sea of bones. I fought, I screamed, but the more I resisted, the more they multiplied, binding me in the spiral of my own darkness. Then the golden silk flared. Blinding light seared through the shadows. The copies vanished. Silence crashed down. I lay gasping, trembling, and the voice returned, quieter now, cold as judgment itself. This is only the beginning. You carried the silk, so you have chosen. From this moment, every step you take, you will face the darkness within yourself. The light snapped shut. Darkness again, but I knew this was no longer the outer dark. It was the darkness of my own heart, awakened at last. From afar, the bell tolled again, heavy, relentless, each strike a hammer upon my soul. Ahead, the bone path stretched onward toward the throne, and the crimson-robed figure stood waiting, motionless. I staggered up, clutching the burning silk. I knew this was only the beginning, and there would be no turning back.